Last week, we showed you this infrared time-lapse image of the natural gas leak in Porter Ranch, California.
But since October of 2015, about 1/3 of its residents have been affected by the SoCalGas methane leak.
3 miles away, methane gas has been leaking from the Aliso Canyon storage facility since October 23rd, nearly 3 months and counting.
Governor Jerry Brown declaring a state of emergency for part of Southern California, where a methane gas leak has been going on for months. William Lajeunesse live in LA on this. So William, explain what's happening in Porter Ranch.
The Porter Ranch gas leak was a massive natural gas leak that was discovered by SoCalGas employees on October 23, 2015. Over 11,000 Porter Ranch residents were evacuated and experienced headaches, nausea, and severe nosebleeds due to the massive amounts of methane that flooded their community. The gas leak was not stopped until February 18, 2016, nearly 4 months later. It is estimated that approximately 95,600 tons of methane and 7,200 tons of ethane were released into the atmosphere. It is the worst natural gas leak in United States history in terms of environmental impact. How do we know it's a problem? Not only did the disaster cost the state upwards of $300 million, but the damage to the environment was catastrophic. The damage that has been done to the atmosphere is irreversible. Who pays the price for this problem? The residents of Porter Ranch and the environment pay the price for this disaster. Numerous residents that were affected by the gas leak reported symptoms including nausea, body aches, coughing, dizziness, and stomach aches. They not only experienced physical symptoms, but mental distress as well, as homeowners are too afraid to go back to their own homes and fear long-term health implications such as cancer. The gas leak also released 94,000 metric tons of methane into the air. This leak generated emissions equivalent to adding 1.6 million cars to the road. Experts say that the release of so much methane, a fast-acting greenhouse gas, many times more powerful than carbon dioxide, means that the biggest environmental consequence of the leak will be its effect in boosting global warming. The pulse of methane will remain in the atmosphere and its damage to the climate will go on. Who benefits from this problem? SoCalGas and Sempra Energy Company monetarily benefit from the gas leak. What was most important to the Sempra board was the company's bottom line. In 2015, the company's net income reached $1.35 billion on revenue of $10.2 billion, a gain of 16% in profit over 2014. Deborah L. Reed, CEO of Sempra Energy, was fined a penalty of $130,000 for Porter Ranch, but she's still getting a $3.17 million bonus, the largest bonus she's received since becoming CEO of Sempra in 2011. It brings her total compensation for 2015 to $16.1 million, meaning that her executive penalty for her involvement in the Porter Ranch gas leak comes to about 0.8% of her pay. The president, executive VP, CFO, and general counsel all together are being fined about $157,000, but they're still getting about $3.9 million in bonuses combined. CEO Reed barely received a slap on the wrist. As far as the compensation committee was concerned, Reed met her goals for 2015. Sempra exceeded the company's 2015 earnings guidance. Ultimately, even those who benefited from this disaster will have to live with the consequences and the damage to our environment. What are people doing to help solve the problem? So far, SoCalGas has paid over $36 million in relocation expenses for approximately 3,400 households. They are being held financially responsible, and despite the fact that there can be no actual cleanup, SoCalGas will be forced to make it up to the environment as well. It is impossible to undo the damage done to the atmosphere, but changes can be done to partially offset the problem. Governor Jerry Brown has ordered the gas company to fully mitigate the climate effect. This includes a draft of a greenhouse gas emissions reduction plan. The California Air Resources Board calls on the gas company to offset a volume of gas that approximates the heat-trapping potential of methane over 20 years. However, SoCalGas argues for a 100-year timeline, which is 30% of the amount the California Air Resources Board's proposed. Governor Jerry Brown has issued stepped-up inspections and safety measures for all natural gas storage facilities in California. Further injections at Porter Ranch have already been prohibited. What else might be done to fix the problem? We need to ask ourselves why and how this could have happened. Are the people at fault truly being held accountable? We do not believe so. The government needs to make an example of companies that damage the environment by being greedy and neglectful. This disaster could have been prevented had SoCalGas followed the regulated maintenance schedule that is in place specifically for prevention of disasters such as this one. Natural gas facilities need to be kept up to date and properly maintained regularly. Older facilities need to be modernized so that the chances of this happening again are lessened. But most of all, the public and other companies like Sempra need to see that this kind of neglect will not be tolerated and that there will be consequences for disrespect to the environment and human life.